major chord his love, and she got it right. What she played it on came from the light.
Welcome to Grandma's Journals. This channel began with a collection of handwritten journals, pages filled with everyday moments, quiet faith, family stories, and a kind of wisdom that only comes from a life well lived. These journals belong to my Grandma Peggy. Inside them are her thoughts, her prayers, her joys, and her struggles. Moments that may have felt ordinary at the time, but now feel priceless. My hope is that as you listen, you'll feel connected to her story and maybe even your own. Thanks for being here. This is Grandma's Journal.
The beauty of the song is joy in her eyes. The major chord is love, and she got it right.
Hello, family. I am, as always, sorry. I feel like I'm just apologizing every episode because I don't ever post the episode when I say I'm going to, but that's just life. So I typically record on Sundays after church, but we had a special state conference this last Sunday, and we watched from home, and then our daughter and our nephew had a production afterwards. Anyways, so Sunday recording just didn't happen. And then the week got away from me, and now we hear our Friday, and I'm barely sitting down to record, which I actually didn't plan to record today, but I've been sitting at my desk for like hours, and I just had my gathering for the week, with my missionaries, or not with my missionaries, my mission with my students. Anyways, and then I was getting back into work, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to do work. I don't want to do work. So I said, let's record the episode, and not make it wait until Sunday. So that's what we're going to do. But I hope everyone has had a fantastic, almost 2 weeks now since I recorded last time. Just a little update on Grandma, if anyone hasn't been able to visit her or gotten an update. I haven't heard for a couple days now, but my dad and Chris were there the beginning of this week, and she was having okay days. She was up, sitting up. She wasn't just laying in bed, so that's always nice to see her at least sitting up, and she was very talkative, which is always great. She was getting a little jumbled, and she did repeat stories and stuff, but that's has been kind of normal for Grandma for a while. But anyway, so like I said, I haven't gotten an update in a few days, but it sounds like she is doing okay. I think that's about as much as we can expect. So anyways, just continue to keep her in your prayers, which I'm sure everybody is. And again, if you are close in Arizona, go visit her. Go visit her. It will make her so happy. Whether she remembers it the next day or not doesn't matter, because the day that you are there, she will know you are there. She may not know exactly who you are. You might have to remind her a couple times, but that is okay. But it will make her day. So if you are close, I'm putting a guilt trip on you right now. Go visit your grandma, because I would give anything to be able to go and sit with her. But I'm really far away, and I did look up plane tickets because I was like, all right, I'm going. And they were like $1,200. Anyways, okay. So we are in 1989, getting so close to the 90s. So we will jump in to January 1989. A brand new year, and hopefully some brand new happenings. Each year brings new and interesting things into our life, but I hope we don't sit back and let things happen, but we will go forward and make things happen so we can say that we had a part in what was happening. On December 31st, Alec went to work, and Brooke Ann Hargrave, our 7-year-old granddaughter, spent the night with me. She thought we should stay up and watch the new year come in. Well, we didn't do too good. We only made it till 10:45, so we never heard the new year come in. Saturday, January 7th, 1989. Bart and Valerie Robbins, Bart lived with us for a few years in Elfrida, Arizona, went through the temple to be sealed. Alec and I got up early, got dressed, and was sitting at the table talking, and he said, "What time do we have to be there?" And I said, "As long as we leave by 10 after 8, we will be okay." So I looked at the clock, and it was 15 minutes to 9. I had misread the clock, thinking we had another 25 minutes. We hurried on down to the temple and caught them just as they were coming out of the temple. I was so mad at myself for being late, but we went over to the luncheon and visited with his mom and met my daughter-in-law there. Then we hurried home and rested for an hour and went back to town and went to a baptism for 2 of the young Lamanite children. It was real nice. Uncle Joe had asked who the Lamanites were. So, if anyone else is wondering that same thing. Grandma refers to the Indians out at the Fort McDowell ward that they have been in as Lamanites. So if you're wondering, when she says Lamanites, she is talking about the Indians, the Native Americans, if we're going to be politically correct, out at McDowell ward. So then Alec and I returned home. Alec and I have asked to be released from Fort McDowell. We have been out there about 3 years and would like to go to our own ward. It is fun out there, but it is very frustrating. It is spiritual and it is sometimes not spiritual. It is hard work and hard to understand their way of life. Some we can't get close to. Others are very loving. The children are very eager to learn and to have the attention. It is quite an experience. We have 2 Papago Indians who work out here with us, Dixon and Hazel Andres. They are very special people and have a great testimony and are a great example to all of them. We felt very privileged to have been asked to work out there, but we feel it's time to move on and let someone else be called to serve. Well, this is the month for a new president, and it looks like George Walker Bush is our new president. His wife, Barbara Bush, is a real different lady. She is a pretty lady, a little overweight, and a grandmother, so I think we will see some different activities in the White House this year. When I was born, President Franklin Roosevelt was president from 1933 to 1945. I was born in December of 1934. Then, from 1945 to 1953, Harry Truman was president, then Dwight Eisenhower from 1953 to 1961. After him was John F. Kennedy from 1961 to 1963. Then Kennedy was shot down by a sniper, and this made our vice president, Lyndon Baines Johnson, our 36th president from 63 to 69. Then Richard Nixon from 69 to 72 or 73. He had to resign because of the Watergate scandal. Then Gerald Ford from 73 to 77, who pardoned Nixon. Then Jimmy Carter from 77 to 81, who was, as far as I'm concerned, one of the best presidents, but didn't have the charisma and charm that most people associate with being president. Then from 81 to 89 was Ronald Reagan. Most of us knew him as a movie star most of our life. He was as good a president as we've had, but still made some unsure decisions as any human would do. Now George Bush, who has just went in January of 1989. I guess no matter how I feel or what I do, I have to keep busy. I am making some Raggedy Ann dolls for an Indian lady, Molly Fasthorse. I must love to do it because I sure don't make money at it. When it comes to making something for someone, it's hard for me to say no. For some reason, I like the challenge. My mother has been redecorating her home, and I made her drapes for her front room and put wallpaper up in her kitchen, and Alec and I put mini blinds in the kitchen, and I made a balloon valance to match the wallpaper. It was fun because she was so delighted with everything. She is quiet and never says too much, but it was the first time she has ever had carpet and new furniture, and she had to wait till she was 72, divorced, and working and saving her money before she could have all this. At this time, I am still having my acupuncture, but I am still having my ups and downs, trying to go on with each day and hoping it will be better each day. January 24th, our oldest grandson, Clint James Hargrave, turned 15. He's 5'10" and 150 pounds. His daddy is 6'6", so I guess it's only reasonable that he is so tall already. At this age, it's hard to buy for a 15-year-old, so we just gave him money, which he was happy with. All the grandkids are getting so big and time is going so fast. All we can do is love them and help guide them in the way that is right because they are all so precious. February, I went back to Dr. Seal for a checkup and a pap smear. Everything is fine except for a few female things that are falling down. But, sorry, sometimes I just read and I don't pay attention to what I'm reading, but I just realized what she said. Oh, but doing exercise to help that. I took my granddaughter, Chelsea Ray Hunt. Dr. Seal talked with her and told her she had been so good. He gave her money for an ice cream cone, and she thought grandma has a very nice doctor. I text Chelsea after I did this, after I transcribed this several weeks ago, and I was like, oh my gosh, did you know that you've met Dr. Seal? I was like, how crazy would that have been if it would have actually been me that met him, not knowing that 25 years later he would be my doctor. But anyways, and she was like, I did? And I said, yeah. And so I told her about this journal entry, and she was like, oh my gosh. I'm sure we all have like core memories, or like memories like every time you do a certain thing, it makes you think of a certain memory. Anyway, she was like, I totally have like one of those core memories of this. And she was like, every single time I go to a doctor and I have to like unfold the, paper covering, she's like, I think of this day. I mean, she didn't remember meeting Dr. Seal or anything like that, but that is one of those things that sticks in her brain, is going to the doctor with grandma to get a pap smear, which I thought was funny. Like, who takes their granddaughter to the doctor to get a pap smear? But whatever. And Chelsea said that she just remembers it was a pink covering, like the paper covering, and that grandma's feet like barely dangled off the end of the little, table that she was sitting on. And Chelsea just thought that was so funny. So her and grandma just got a good laugh and chuckle out of her feet like dangling. So anyways, I thought that was fun. Anyways, all right. February 4th was Uncle Bill Moore and his wife. February 4th, my Uncle Bill Moore and his wife Judy came to visit from California, Long Beach area. We had a potluck over at my mom's in Phoenix. My uncle is an alcoholic, has a drink in his hand continually. Such a shame. Already 2 brothers have died early from drinking, but I am sure he believes it will never happen to him. Even so, it was nice to get together with some of the family. Justin Hargrave, our grandson, had his 11th birthday on February 10th, 1989. He said he just wanted money. Everyone had the flu bug, so there wasn't much of a party, but cake and ice cream seemed to make everyone celebrate a birthday. Lori has been real sick with the flu. I went and stayed 3 days with her. She has really had her share of illness this year. I took Tyler, her son, home one day so we could do her wash because hers is broke down. Tyler went out with Alec and called the cows to come in so they could feed them. He was so cute. He followed behind Alec yelling, "Here, cows, here, cows." Tyler is 4 years old. February 12th, Alec and I walked the levee up here at the dam. We found about a dozen helium-filled balloons in a tree. When we reached the tree, we could see a camera hanging from the balloons. We got it out of the tree and took the camera out of the case. There was cards in there that we knew it came from Mesa Mobile Homes. We called and they wanted to know how far it got. And it was about 10 miles. And said, thanks for finding, or no, I'm sorry. I have to read the words correctly. And they said, for finding it, we could keep the camera. It was a Taiwan make 35 millimeter, but it was fun. Alec and I were released from our calling at Fort McDowell on February 5th, and we went to Lehigh First Ward to fast and testimony meeting. It was real different. A young man who had not bore his testimony in many years got up and started to hyperventilate and just got so worked up that he was yelling and begging the Lord to help him. It was really strange. He was really in a state of mind that was unreal. As sorry as I felt for him, I turned to Alec and I said, "Are you sure we're in the right church?" On February 10th, our grandson, Justin Hargrave, celebrated his 11th birthday. Apparently she's writing about this again. He said he only wanted money, so we gave him $11 for his 11 years. Just before we went to Justin's birthday, Alex stopped by a young man's house that he works with and wanted to show me a picture that the guy had. It was an Indian woman bending down to get a drink of water. A beautiful painting. I think he was hoping I could paint it, so we took a picture of it. This young man was married to a Navajo Indian girl that made beautiful Navajo rugs. And the young man, Gary Bradshaw, said, "Just a minute, I have something for you." He came back with a beautiful Indian rug and handed it to me, and I was dumbfounded and just said, "Oh, it is beautiful." And I'm thinking, what's going on here? This guy don't know me from nothing. Why is he giving me a rug? Finally, after what seemed forever, Alex said, "Happy Valentine's." The rug was gorgeous, and I was surprised. I'm assuming that this is like the rug that they've had in their house forever. I think right now, well, I mean, I haven't been to grandma's house in a couple years, but I know before there was like a rug holder thing that was in the TV room in her current house that there was rugs on. So I'm thinking maybe it was that. Like, I can envision it in my brain. Anyways, you guys do not know how much I wish that I could just like teleport to Arizona, because there's so much things in these journals, especially the further in them I get. So right now in like my transcribing them, I'm in 1994. I've almost made it through the first journal book and I'm very excited. Anyway, so I'm in like 1994. And so I'm getting to the place where like I have memories of the things she's writing about. And there's just so many things that have been brought up that I'm like, oh, I know right where that is at grandma's house. I wish I can go snap a picture of it. Or like, grandma or grandpa now has his video camera. And I'm like, I know, I bet in grandma's house, probably underneath their TV are all these VHS tapes of all the videos that grandpa has taken. And I want them all, because I would love to like take snippets out of them and be able to put them in this podcast and on the video, because I think it would be so fun for all of us to like be able to see past videos. And I mean, if grandpa's recording, my guess is almost everything he recorded is probably written about in these journals. So I just want you guys to know that it sucks right now that I am many, 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 many miles and states away from all of this amazing family history that I know is sitting in grandma's house that I want it all. Because I think it would be so fun to share in here. So, and maybe eventually I will make my way back to Arizona and get my hands on all the goodies over there. As well as maybe raiding everyone's house to go through your photo books and piles of photos, because I know that you guys have pictures of a lot of these things that you're just not sending to me. Anyways, I just want it all. Anyways, I do have some little things to share in upcoming podcasts that I am excited about, but those will be a few years away still. Anyways, okay, back to grandma's journal. The Sunday before, we were going to church and Alec wore his new suit, and all of his ties are so old. I bought him a tie for Valentine's Day. He was having such a hard time deciding what old tie to wear, so I gave him his tie early. We didn't have anything to give each other on Valentine's Day, but we have much love to give each other every day. We left to go to Elfrida on Monday the 13th. We didn't leave until 2 p.m. because Alec worked all night, and so he slept for a while before we left. It's still a pretty ride, and the country is beautiful down there, but I still don't know if I would ever move back there. We got to Elfrida late, but Alec's mom was in good shape and doing well. We stayed all the next day and then got up Wednesday morning and left. We went through Safford and Thatcher and visited with two of Alec's aunts, Erdine Layton and Vera Hunt. We stopped in Cactus and put a sign up on Alec's mom's place. She has 5 acres. It's a beautiful view of the Graham Mountains. Oh, how I miss Mount Graham. You guys have no idea. I miss it. I love that mountain. I had the privilege of living at the base of it for 13 years, and I miss it greatly. All right. But she has had it for many years and wants to sell it now. Just before we left Thatcher, we saw John Hunt, Lee and Vera's boy, and his wife. Oh, I have a little connection. His wife just had a baby, a boy. It was kind of a surprise for them, as their youngest was 15 years old. Okay, you guys ready for a connection? This is fun. And when I originally did this, I didn't know this connection yet. So it just popped into my head. So, funny story, my sister, Stevie, she is doing physical therapy right now because she has had a handful of surgeries after this last little while and still has some issues going on anyway. So she has been in physical therapy. And she sent us a business card the other day of one of the physical therapists and was like, look at this name. And his name was Lee Hunt, spelt L-E-A, which is how the people with the Lee name in our family spell it. So the Lee we're talking about here. And then my dad was named after him, Stephen Lee. And then my sister Stephanie was named after my dad and him, Stephanie Lee. Anyways, and so she was like, oh my gosh, like what are the chances? And so my dad was like, oh, that's John's boy. Lee is his grandpa. And so Stevie's like, oh my gosh, make me a family tree, Jessica. I need to see how this all, anyway. So I drew her up a family tree showing, how it's all connected. Anyway, so the next time she went to physical therapy, she was asking this physical therapist, she was like, where did you get your name from? And he told this big long story, and she was like, okay, that's awesome, but like, where did you get your name from? And he had said, well, my grandpa is Lee Hunt. And Stevie was like, and he has a brother named Clark Porter. And as soon as she said Porter, like his mouth like dropped. And he was like, what? How do you know that? Anyway, so Stevie explained to him that they are like technically cousins or whatever, that, his grandpa is brothers to her great grandpa. And anyway, so sure enough, he is the son of John Hunt, who they're talking about right here, which I'm like, obviously, I don't think this guy is only, I don't think he was born in 89, but I don't know. Maybe he is younger than Stevie. Maybe I should ask her. Maybe this is the baby boy they're talking about. I have no idea. I don't know how old he is. Let's see. How old would that make him? 1989. So 37? I don't know. He could be 37. I'll have to ask Stevie. Because wouldn't that be funny if that was him? Anyway, so Stevie's physical therapist is the son of John Hunt, who I just mentioned here. So it's a small world, y'all. It's a small world. I'm telling you. Okay. Back to the journal. 2 weeks after we got home, our Bishop Martineau, I'm not sure, and Pat Boyle came out to the house and asked if I would be the homemaking leader for Lehigh First Ward. I said yes and was put in on Sunday, the 26th of February. The 28th of February, we had our visiting teaching convention, and March 17th, the Relief Society birthday party. It was really nice. And I met a few of the sisters that I would be working with. All right, March 1st, 1989. Our son Stephen has 4 girls, and 2 of them were born in March. We went to Stephanie's birthday yesterday. She is 7 years old, and I made her some shorts for summer. She wasn't celebrating until Friday, and she was having a slumber party. March 3rd, some friends of ours, Jack and Pat Miller, had a daughter get married, and we attended the reception. Her name was Marla, and she married a young man named Darren Shumway, whose parents we know real well, Royd and Carmen Shumway. It was nice visiting old friends. Tabitha, who is Stephen's daughter by marriage, turned 11 on March 7th. I took her shopping for her birthday. She's right at that age where she likes to shop. She's a darling girl, and we had a lot of fun with her. Tanner Hargrave, our next to oldest grandson, turned 12 on March 9th. We took him out to eat because he became a deacon, and we wanted him to know this was very special. Also, he wanted Grandma to paint a Mustang on a sweatshirt with his name on it. Tanner always knows exactly what he wants and how he wants it. We attended a wedding for a friend, Lori Emmons. She is a girlfriend of our oldest daughter, Jeanette, and she is 35 years old and has never been married. She is not a member of the church, but the wedding was a real nice ceremony, and it was a real nice reception. Our daughter-in-law is a real talent, and she teaches crafts, mostly toll painting, at a shop called Crafts Inc. I gave her one small lesson, and she took off, left me in the dust. She is a natural. She does beautiful work. She cuts wood for the shop and for herself. We are trying to get our own things going and do some originals. I am working on a Southwest doll with babies. It's real cute, and maybe we will be able to sell some. Her shop had a her shop had a workshop, and I went to it and got a lot of ideas for our mother and daughter's work meeting. We did a lot of fun things, and our work meeting was a real success. I am learning a few more names and faces in our ward. It's a friendly ward, and everyone seems to help each other. Lots of new young family converts, which is great. It's so nice to hear their conversion stories. It just seems at this time there is so much drugs and killings and rape and violence that it is so refreshing to hear the good things that happen to the people. The weather is really warming up, but the early mornings and evenings are still cool and nice. It's quiet up here at the dam. It's always nice in the mornings to get up and hear the water coming out of the gates into the canal. It has a sound like the ocean and a calm and peaceful feeling. You can hear the birds and see the little chipmunks and almost forget there's a big city right there just a few miles or two down the road. May 5th, 1989. Steve and Jennifer were out of town, and Alec took Tabitha to the father-daughter party. She had a lot of fun. They ran barefoot, which for Alec is hard, had races and rode down a hill on a block of ice. They had a picnic lunch and had a fun time. Saturday, May 6th, my aunt and uncle, Lou and Carla Moore, came over from Santa Ana, California, and Alec and I took them around to see homes. They have made up their minds to buy and live over here. They fell in love with the Red Mountain area and bought a lovely home not too far from here on Bush Highway. They have a beautiful view of Red Mountain, Camelback, and Superstition Mountains. They bought the home, then went back to Santa Ana. The home should be built by September of 1989. Lou is retired and Carla still works. I hope they are not sorry for making this move, as their whole family is in California. Somehow, if I don't write in my journal every week, I forget things, but on the 7th of April, Alec and I celebrated his 20 years at Salt River Project. The company sent us to Camelback Inn for a beautiful dinner and awarded Alec with a gold Bulova watch. We met several people, sat down to a gorgeous dinner of filet mignon and shrimp scampi, and after dinner, a long stem rose was given to each of the ladies. It was a great night, and we enjoyed the evening. Our 36th wedding anniversary was May 9th, 1989. I had planned on us going to Payson and having lunch and looking around and visiting some friends. I thought it was all settled, but 2 days before, Alec said, "This is just an idea, but why don't we just stay home, go shopping, and out to lunch?" I could have stood my ground and said no, but it was his anniversary too, and I knew when he changed his plans that he really didn't want to go to Payson. So knowing he didn't want to go would have made it not so enjoyable. So we did the same old boring thing we do when he has his days off. We went shopping and out to eat. He bought me a real nice watch, and I bought him an Indian statue that he really liked and we had looked at before. It is a plaster from the House of Iwin, and I painted it. Steve and Jennifer has got caught up in the Amway selling thing that they hope to make their millions with. I really can't see them making millions. I don't see where anyone could make a lot except those on top. But Alec and I supported them and wish them luck, and I hope they do good. I just wish my children would learn to do what the Lord asks them to do and that they will get their blessings. But I guess we all have to learn and go through the struggles. Kids cannot save any money nowadays. It's scary to think what will happen to them in later years, but I guess it will all work out. They don't even know where their gas money is coming from 2 days after they get paid, or how they can buy medicine for the kids or themselves. Where did we go wrong? We tried to teach them, but I guess that is every parent's cry at this time. I really wish Steve had a steady job. Construction is so up and down, and the kids do not know how to save when they are making a lot, so they never have any for the down days. May of 1989. I have really thought about this strange illness I have. I did not have a clue what could be wrong. Then my daughter, Lori Fricky, got sick. I was too sick to help her. After she was sick for a few months, she began comparing things, and we were coming up with the same things. A tight band around the head and numbness in the back of the head, dizziness, nausea, weakness. So weak our legs would not hold us up. Then we both had a terrible feeling in our stomach that worked up to our heads and caused us not to be able to lay down, so we slept on stacks of pillows. Lori's neighbor came and gave her a book because she got so bad she was hyperventilating and passing out. The book turned out to be on panic attacks and anxiety. Lori read the book and realized that is what she had because she was scared to go outside or drive her car. I thought some of mine might be that, but I had different things happen to me. When I tried to walk, the floor would come up on one side and I felt like I was sliding to one side. So it was hard to keep my balance. Also, I would wake in the morning and sit on the edge of the bed and things would fall off the wall or appear to be falling. I really thought I was nuts. This really couldn't be happening to me. I would try to go outside and it felt like the ground would fly up into my face. I was really scared then. I just knew I was nuts. I remember seeing a movie called Snake Pit. All I can remember is a bunch of ladies wandering around all nuts and not knowing anything. This is almost how I felt because I was so confused with myself. She was so consumed with herself, I couldn't think of anything else. As my daughter got better, she kept telling me things to do to help myself. I walked for a while, then I rode my bike. I started writing poetry and I read good books. I set goals to listen to soft classical music. When I went somewhere, I hung on to Alec for dear life, and I never talked to anyone for fear something crazy would happen. I really paid no attention to anyone. I knew this couldn't happen for the rest of my life. I had to be in bed by 8 o'clock or I would get really sick. Well, I wanted so bad to get well. I would do a lot of things to get my mind out of it. Then I would be totally out of it. I would do good and then bad and then good. It was so tiring. I know someday it will all be over with and I can go on with my life. Lori got over hers in a year. She is younger, but I know I can do it too. I have learned one thing this far. I can't do it all and I need to slow down. I think a mother gets caught up into everyone's world and forgets who she is, and I think that's what I have done. I hope when this goes away completely, I have the sense to have my life. It's a lot better than it was in 1986. I at least have good weeks now. I really appreciate them and try to do something constructive and take time out for myself. I don't volunteer to do anything for now. I know I have to be better than this. So for now, I will go on from day to day and do the best I can. I know if it wasn't for Alec and my kids, I couldn't have gotten this far. And every day I thank my Heavenly Father and do what I can at this time to serve the Lord, such as reading the scriptures, having my prayers day and night. At this time, sometimes all day long. I am thankful for my life, and I know Heavenly Father will help me through it all. After all, He's helped me come this far. So reading this made me so sad for Grandma, as somebody who also unfortunately suffers from severe anxiety. I know how she felt, and I'm like, I don't know what kind of medication was available back then, but I was a person who just always would say, I'm shy, I'm bashful. Like, that's why I don't like being around people. That's why I don't like talking to people. That's why I don't ever play the game or do the show or, whatever. Even though I wanted to so bad, I was too shy. That's what I always thought, right? Well, it wasn't until later, much later in life, until I moved here to Georgia and I met with a doctor and she was like, I think you have anxiety. And I was like, what? I don't have anxiety. You're crazy. And she was like, I think you do. Anyways, because I had gotten bad like Grandma. I was sick every single day. I could barely leave the house. It was even just going to that's when I noticed something was really wrong is I went to a great friend's house who I'm 100% comfortable with for their son's birthday. And within 5 minutes of being there, I was freaking out. And I was like, I have to leave. I have to leave. I have to leave. I can't be here. That was the moment I noticed something is wrong. Anyways, so luckily now there's lots of medications and I am medicated and I will shout it from the rooftops because it has completely changed my life. So if anyone is having any of these and, want to think about Lexapro, I highly recommend it. I am not one that likes medication and things like that. However, this one medication has completely changed my life and I can finally be the person that I always felt I was inside. That person's able to come out. I'm not, I'm not scared to do things. I've done, plays and I dance now and I'm not afraid to talk to people and serving a mission. Heck no, that never would have happened. Dancing ballet at almost 40 years old, never in a million years. Doing onstage plays, Like, heck no. Anyway, so it made me sad. I'm like, man, there's medication now to help with these things, which I don't know if it was available back then, but anyways, anxiety sucks for sure. And anyone that has experience with it can agree. I know. Sorry, I keep hearing my phone buzz and I doubt it's anything too important. Yeah, we're good. Okay, back to the journal. Alec has been back with the company for 5 years coming this July. He has put in for a watermaster job 2 or 3 times and they turned him down. He finally decided that it was his age. He's 55. They just don't want the older guys. So when the last job for watermaster came up, he never put in for it. They are having a SOAR program, a SOAR, like soaring in the sky, SOAR, and changing things around and laying off a lot of the older guys. Alec thought for a while they might lay him off, but on May 22nd, they called him in for a review for the watermaster. May 23rd, they called and told him that he got the job. We are really grateful because a few of them that are at his age got asked to leave. So we are really grateful for this calling and position. It also means a raise in pay. That's always nice. May 30th is Memorial Day, but we observe it on May 29th. Alec worked all day, but Jeanette and Jim and the kids, Justin, Tanner, and Brooke Ann, all came out and swam in the river a couple of hours and then came up to the house and we had a picnic. It was real nice. Justin brought a friend, Eric, and we barbecued and sat outside. It was nice and a cool breeze was blowing, so we enjoyed a nice day. It was good that we enjoyed a cool night because we entered into June, the weather started getting warm, and summer was upon us. Well, that will happen in Arizona. All right. The wallpapering business is slow, but still drifting along. I did a chiropractor's office for Dr. Allen on Bush Highway in the Southwest theme and a living room for a friend, Marie Miller. I really enjoyed doing the work and love to see the different papers that people pick out. June is, of course, wedding month, and we went to Eddie Miller's reception. He is a returned missionary and a son of friends of ours, Chuck and Marie Miller. He came home from his mission and went back to Salt Lake and married a lady with 2 boys, a 14-year-old and a 9-year-old. His parents were very unhappy, but what can you do except support them and hope they are doing the right thing? Also on the 24th, on a Saturday, we went to the temple and went to a wedding of Clay Allen, son of our friends Barbara and Dave Allen. He worked for us as a young boy mowing our lawn and did an excellent job. He is a very conscientious boy and has almost graduated from college. He will do great things in this old world. July 4th, Alec and I got up early and went down to our Lehigh ward where they had a flag raising and a pancake breakfast to celebrate the 4th. I helped cook pancakes for 2 hours and Alec visited. We went home and spent the rest of the day here at the house. We didn't really have too many people over on the river. It has been hot. Temperatures have been in the 110 to 115, but we haven't reached that here yet. 105 is about as hot as we have had, but with all the water surrounding us, we just stay cooler than the rest of the valley. July 5th, our granddaughter Brooke Ann will have her 8th birthday. We always get each grandchild their Book of Mormon and Bible with their names on it for their 8th birthday and baptism. Brooke called Alec and I and asked that we talk on baptism and confirmation. We are delighted that she asked. On July 8th, we went to her baptism along with her family, Jim, Jeanette, Clint, Tanner, Justin, and Brooke Ann, our other daughter and her family, Bill, Lori, Cameron, and Tyler. Brooks Bishop stood her on a chair and asked her to look around the room and remember who all was there at her baptism. She really looked around the room. All you could see was those big brown eyes looking at everyone. She is such a cute thing and loves everyone. Our son and wife, Jennifer, were not there. They had gone to Las Vegas to a convention for Amway, but their daughter Stephanie was there. She is a year younger than Brooke and was almost as excited as Brooke was. It was really a spiritual experience for some reason. It was an extra spiritual feeling, and Brooke really paid attention to what was going on and really took to heart what was being said to her. She was so cute. When I got through giving my talk, I gave her a picture of Christ to hang in her room, and right out loud she said, "Thank you, Granny, I love you." Maybe that was what made it special. What could I say back except, "I love you, Brooke." By the time Alec got up to talk on the Holy Ghost, he was so emotional that he could hardly talk. He had trouble expressing himself, but finally got it out, and I think Brooke really understood what the Holy Ghost was. We visited with people, and Jeanette introduced us to a Naomi Hoops, and it turned out to be a Thatcher, Arizona playmate when Alec was 4 to 8, somewhere in that time. Alec's dad and her dad, Nate Hoops, were old friends, so they had a lot to talk about. We went to Jim and Jeanette's and had cake and ice cream to help her celebrate. Then Alec and I came home because he had to go to work tonight at 9 o'clock and work all night. Brooke Hargrave and Stephanie Hunt, our granddaughters, came and stayed with us for a few days. I had some material with ducks on it, and I made shorts for all the girls, Brooke, Stevie, Chelsea, and Jessie. And while Brooke and Stevie were here, they made t-shirts to match for everyone. I had some stencils, and they stenciled them on the shirts. They really had fun. Brooke likes to be the boss, and in about 3 days, Stephanie doesn't want to be bossed anymore. Brooke is 8 and Stevie is 7, but for cousins, they get along great. I usually take a 4 or 5 day rest, then take another couple kids. Next, we had Justin Hargrave and Cameron Fricky. Justin is 11 and Cameron is 7. We have to keep Cameron busy all day because he is a pretty active boy, but Justin keeps him in tow. They are all precious and have the cutest personalities. We keep them busy painting, swimming, reading books, playing games. I don't get anything done, but we have a lot of fun and special moments that I wouldn't trade for the world. Boys love to explore, fish, and build things, and they keep me busy all day, so I only keep them for about 3 days. Then I am ready for a 4 or 5 day rest. On August 10th, Alec brought Tanner Hargrave, 12, and Tyler Fricky, 4, home. Tyler hasn't stayed too many times. He is kind of a mama's boy, but he's getting bigger and likes his turn at grandma's too. Tanner and Tyler made string art shirts. You dip string in acrylic paint and make a design on the shirt with the string placed on paper and a book on top of the shirt that has been folded over, and pull string gently out from between the shirts. You end up with beautiful designs that look like an air gun spray paint. Tanner did a great job. He has an eye for color and art, and every time I try to mark a mistake, then I lose where I am. Tanner did a great job. He has an eye for color and art, and I hope he does something in that field. Tyler also did some for him and Cameron, and they turned out real cute. Tanner and Tyler swam, and Tyler didn't quite make it into the house. He had a little case of diarrhea, and he started in the house, and with my weak stomach, I made him stay outside, and I let Tanner help him pull off his bathing suit and squirt him down with the hose. He was a little humiliated, but took it all in stride. That afternoon, Tyler was in the den watching TV, and I was in the kitchen, and he yelled out, "I love you, Grandma." And I yelled back, "I love you too, Tyler." He said, "Okay," and went on about his business. We got up at 5 a.m. on August 12th and took Alec to work so we could have the truck. Today was a family party at Lori and Bill's. The boys were excited because they had been wanting to have the party. Alec didn't get off work until 4, and the party was to start at 4, so instead of him coming home and picking us up, we took him to work. The boys were both pretty tired. We stopped and got some donuts and bread so Tanner could have white bread. When we got back home at 6:30, I said, "Let's go back to bed." But the boys said no, so they watched TV and I went back to bed. I am not a morning person. The boys were real good and let me sleep until 7:45. Then the boys helped get everything ready for the party, and at 12:30 I said, "Everyone that takes a nap gets an ice cream on the way home." They were tired, and in about 15 minutes they were out. I finished cleaning the house and took a bath and dressed and then woke the boys. Tanner got right up, but Tyler wouldn't budge. He was dead to the world. We dressed him while asleep. Tanner loaded the car and we were on our way. Tyler slept most of the way, except when we stopped for ice cream. We got to Lori's early. She wanted to go to the beauty shop house and get some supplies, but needed my license to get shampoo and stuff. We got back and Joe and Joni Faraday were there, my youngest brother. Then Alec came from work. Then Jeanette and the Hargrave bunch came. Then Jennifer and 3 girls came. Steve had gone to California to see about clients for the Amway business. Bill had to go to work, and Tabitha had gone to see her dad in Tucson. So we weren't a whole family, but we had fun. Lori has a nice big pool, so all the kids, Joe and Jim, swam, and the rest of us sat out. Jim had a lot of fun with the boys. He plays rough, but they love every minute of it. After swimming, we played games with brooms and hula hoops. It's always great fun for the kids and for the adults to watch the kids. We had a great supper, haystacks. You put rice on your plate, cover it with chicken and gravy, and then pile on the onions, bell peppers, tomatoes, nuts, coconut, pineapple, celery, and anything else you can put on your plate. Pineapple upside down cake for dessert. Alec and I, being the oldest, left first. We poop out first. With hugs and kisses, we left for home to come back to peace and quiet and our 2 dogs. When Alec arrived, all the Hunt girls, Chelsea, Stephanie, and Jessie, all ran to him for hugs and kisses. Jessie, who's 2 years old, ran to him and said, "I'm Jessie. I want hugs and kisses too." All in attendance was Jim and Jeanette Hargrave with Clint, Tanner, Justin, and Brooke Ann, Lori Fricky with Cameron and Tyler, Jennifer Hunt with Stephanie, Chelsea, and Jessica, Joe and Joni Faraday with Jennifer, who's 2 years old, and Alec and Peggy Hunt. August 13th, 1989. Sunday, Alec worked and I stayed in bed. I thought I was over my sore throat and cold, but this morning I was sick all over again, so I stayed down all day and swabbed and gargled my throat all day. Not much of a Sunday, but doing a little better this afternoon. I've been daydreaming again. I've sent off for house plans, and I just dream each day for it to come true and think how I can get my dream to really come true. But they say the fun part is dreaming and preparing, but I am one who believes that miracles do come true, so I just need to do my homework and then work every angle to keep on dreaming. Sometimes those dreams come true. Stephen's birthday was on August 11th, but he had left town, so we didn't celebrate. Just went over when he came home. September 1989. September seems to speed by. We celebrated Jessica Hunt's birthday on the 25th. She loves puzzles and can really work them well for a 3-year-old. She has no trouble working puzzles for 10 to 12-year-olds. So we gave her puzzles and a doll and a book and a bag. She is quite the gal. Jennifer, her mom, and I went to wallpaper a lady's house and we took her with us. She was so good. She played with all of her stuff and then took a nap. When she woke up, she told her mom she needed a hug real bad. Jennifer was on the ladder and said, "I'm sure Grandma would hug you." So she let me pick her up and hug her. After we hugged for a few minutes, I let her down and she said, "Mom, I sure feel a lot better after my hug." And Jennifer said, "Well, hugs are kind of like miracles, aren't they?" And Jessica said, "They sure are." What a little character for 3 years old. They are so precious. You just know they came from heaven. October 1989. October started a lot of birthdays. Alec's mom, Blanche, was on the 7th. We went down to Elfrida on the 9th and helped her celebrate. I made her a painted sweatshirt. I made Mexican dinner, which is Blanche's favorite. Alec's sister came over and a friend, Brother D'Albany, came by and we all celebrated with a banana cream pie. Blanche was 83. We headed home the next day. Alec and I stopped along the way and bought apples and apple juice at Long's Apple Orchard on Dragoon Road. I'm not really crazy about going to Elfrida, but the trip is really nice because Alec and I always enjoy each other and it's a time we can share our dreams and our most intimate feelings, and as long as we are together, we have a good time. If he is gone all day, I still get excited when it's time for him to come home. I had another 2-week battle with a root canal. My whole mouth hurt and I couldn't tell which tooth hurt and it wouldn't show up on the x-ray. So I suffered for 2 weeks and it finally landed on the tooth, so I got that fixed. Our ward had a party. They are always fun. Barbecue, fun games, and we saw a lot of people we haven't seen in a long time. It was fun. Alec and I had to leave early so he could go to work. I spent the night with our daughter, Jeanette. They had just moved into a new house on Rawhide, just around the corner from where they used to live. October 17th, 1989, at 5 p.m., San Francisco got an earthquake that was 7.0 on the Richter scale. Lots of homes and buildings were toppled. A big fire in the downtown area. People evacuated from their homes because of gas leaks. It was just time for the World Series to start, but the ball game didn't continue. The freeway collapsed. It was a double-decker, and the top collapsed on the bottom, killing at least 250 people, according to the news. The pictures on TV were devastating, but aside from all the disaster, people were helping people. Black, white, rich or poor, everyone was helping everyone somewhere. People slept side by side that were neighbors who hadn't spoke to each other in 5 or 6 years. It seems with all the bad, there can always be found good. After 4 days, they found a man still alive in his car on the bridge that collapsed. He lived for 2 weeks and then died. After everything was settled down, the death toll was only 39, which was a lot better than what they expected or what the news originally said. October 21st, 1989. We had a Faraday get-together. My mom always likes to get her family together. My mom is 73 and she is in good health. We met at a park in Gilbert and had a potluck. We visited, played games, and it was so close to Halloween that we had a costume parade for the kids and gave out prizes. Everyone got a prize. We also had a talent show. Jessica Hunt, 3 years old, just learned to ride a bicycle, and that's what she did for her talent. Rode the trike for everyone. Stephanie Hunt, 7, is very acrobatic, and she did flips and cartwheels. Brooke-Ann Hargrave, 8, she did a cute aerobic dance. Cameron did a karate chop. He's taking karate, but that's all he did, just one karate chop. The other little kids were too bashful to perform, but Tanner and Justin Hargrave did a square dance call. It was real cute. But it was lots of fun, and we enjoyed each other's company. On October 22nd was our son-in-law's birthday. Jim is 38 years old. We usually buy him shirts because he is always in need of them, so that's what he got. He always seems to enjoy them. He is a great son-in-law and would do anything for any of us. On October 26th, Jennifer Hunt and I had a wallpaper job. It seemed to be an easy job until we saw the grass cloth. It has a fiber in it that makes my hands break out. So it was a harder job than we thought. We worked 10 hours and I was pooped, but Jennifer wanted to finish, so we didn't have to go back the next day, which was fine, except I didn't think I would get this tired. The next Saturday was Jeanette Hargrave's birthday. I made her 2 outfits to wear to church. She was real pleased and said she really had a nice birthday. All the bus drivers gave her a little gift. She is still driving the school bus. October 30th was my mom's 73rd birthday, but Emily, my sister, and I went over to her house on the 29th and took her to lunch. I made a sweatshirt and painted flowers on it, which turned out real pretty. I've never painted flowers before. Anyway, she had a nice day, and by the time I got home, it was time to go to church, but I was so sick that I went home and stayed sick with the flu for 2.5 weeks. Brother Edward Stevenson, who Alec served in the bishopric with at Fort McDowell, passed away. Alec and I were both down with the flu bug. We didn't get to go to the funeral, but we will see his wife later. He was a fun guy and quite a character. He always greeted us with, "Top of the morning to ya." November 11th was Alec's 56th birthday. We can't believe time is going so fast. All the kids and grandkids came and we had ice cream and cake and sang happy birthday. It's always a house full, but a fun house full. On November 15th, my little brother, Joe Faraday, likes to learn to make things like bread and canning. He is married and he is 27 years old. Anyway, he brought his little girl Jennifer out and we made pomegranate jam. He really enjoyed himself and I am glad he comes and visits because he just about doesn't have a family left. His mom and dad both passed and he has one full sister. The rest of us are half brothers and sisters, but he is a real nice kid and we get along great and had a real nice day together. On November 23rd was Thanksgiving Day, and it rolled around fast. Lori had dinner at her house at 1125 East Ivanhoe. Alec and I and all the Hargraves were there. Jim, Jeanette, Clint, Tanner, Justin, and Brooke-Ann. Stephen and Jennifer had Thanksgiving at their house with all of Jennifer's family. Jennifer had another exciting thing happen the day after Christmas. Her real dad, which she hadn't seen since she was 5 years old, came to visit her over the weekend. She had gotten a hold of an aunt and a grandmother to find out where he was. The dad was real pleased because Jennifer's mother had asked that her dad never get a hold of her. It was a great reunion and lots of things were found out that neither party knew about. I can only try to realize what it would be like after all these years. We were really happy for her. Her dad and his wife spent the whole weekend. Jennifer was real pleased, and now we know where Jennifer got her long arms and legs from. November 29th, 1989. Our youngest grandson, Tyler Fricky, was Tyler Fricky, was a 5-year-old, and they had a party at the Renaissance Hotel. On the grounds, they have a big merry-go-round that was taken from Coney Island in New York to Mesa, Arizona. They had a clown come and play with the kids while they rode the merry-go-round. It is a beautiful merry-go-round, and Bill's mother, who is 75 or 76, said she rode it when she was little because she grew up in that area. So we went over and got on one of the horses and rode. When she got off, she said, it wasn't near as fun as when I was a kid. They played games and had refreshments, and Alec and I had been out all day, so we were really tired and ready to go home. December 1st. It really seems to travel fast as December approaches. We had our adult Christmas party at the church, and they served a delicious chicken dinner. We had a host and hostess at the table, and they served our table. They had a beautiful program with a lot of singing. Really, you put in the Christmas spirit with all the Christmas songs. My aunt, who is 6 weeks older than I, came for a visit. She is Fredna Moore McPhee. Her husband, John McPhee, came for a meeting with the DA. He is a private detective. It was great seeing her. I grew up with her and spent half of my life with her. Sunday, December 3rd, we attended Fort McDowell Ward just to go back and visit with the people. It was small in numbers, but we visited with all, and we were glad to see everyone. Christmas will be here before we know it. I love the Christmas season. I still love to decorate the house and make gifts for my grandkids. It keeps me busy, and I love making things. We had a busy December as usual. Jennifer and I wallpapered a home. I had my homemaking meeting. We had it with 2 other wards, and it was really special. We had dinner with friends, Corey and Vonda Gray. They are really 2 special friends. We could count on them for anything. My birthday fell on Sunday. It's so hard for the kids to come on Sunday because we all have church at different hours. So the girls came by Saturday bearing gifts to help celebrate my 55th birthday. I thought it was just my 50th. December 20th, 1989. We are at the countdown, 5 more days between doctor's appointments, hair appointments, Lori's birthday. We didn't go over to Lori's on her birthday. We waited till Christmas. Too many places to go and too many things to do. Alec worked Christmas Day, so I met him at Jim and Jeanette's early Christmas morning. Then we went to Steve and Jennifer's and then to Lori's. Alec went back to work and I went to Phoenix to my mom's and took her a gift and visited with her. Then in the afternoon, I went home and Alec and I had Christmas alone, and it was real nice. We had a nice meal and it was a nice evening. We reflected on the Christmas gone past and our first Christmas we spent together when there was just the 2 of us. And now it winds up with just the 2 of us again. The end. The end of 1989. Grandma had a few sicknesses throughout that year, but it was a fun year to read about. There were some funny things in there. And I do have a few pictures that I threw up throughout that that video. So if you are just listening and you want to go back and see the pictures, just jump onto the YouTube video and you can see those. But yeah, that's a wrap on 1989. So next week we will jump into the 90s. My mother is actually on her way here right now from Arizona. Her and my stepdad, she retired last week, and so they are taking their first retired road trip across the United States with their camper, and they will be here next week sometime, and she is bringing me 2 giant boxes of pictures, which I'm super excited about. So hopefully there will be some more pictures that I can include in future videos, which will be wonderful. But everyone have a fantastic week or weekend or whatever day you're listening to this, and I hope you enjoyed 1989.